Yes, guys, it's Suki for BTS TV, fueled by explosive vape. And today, of course, Men's Physique TV is back. So I do apologize for being away for the last couple of weeks. My fault, my honeymoon, my wedding. But now we're back because this week is, of course, it's Arnold's week. And we've got a special guest. So let me introduce this guy properly because he deserves the best possible intro. 2008, at 17, he made his debut in bodybuilding. Shoot over 4 years later, 2012, switched over to men's physique, won his first show. 2013, he became IFBB Pro. Do I even need to explain what happened between 2014 and 2017? Just in case it's past your due date. Four consecutive Olympia titles in men's physique. That people call him a standard. People call him the GOAT. I call him Mr. Nobody Outworks Me. Who could possibly forget that iconic moment at the press conference? It can only be one person. It can only be a four-time Mr. Olympia, Jeremy Buendia. Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for that introduction. That was very kind to you, man. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. We're out here working hard here in Northern California. Got a lot of things going on in the works right now, and we're leaving for the Arnold on Thursday morning, and it's going to be a great show. I mean, this the guys are really bringing it this year. They've elevated the game once again, and it's going to be some serious competition this coming weekend on that stage.
Definitely. And of course, we are co-hosts Matt Parker and Mike from the leading Instagram channel for Men's Physique news. Guys, before we jump into the Arnold's, I need to get this question out of the way, Jeremy. If I don't ask this question, I'm going to forget it. So I need to get it out of the way now. I mentioned about nobody outworks me. Nobody could possibly forget that iconic moment. I need to ask you, buddy, because literally when you were talking on the mic, literally there was no gaps. It was just everything was just saying on the cuff. Just take me back to that moment when you on the mic and you were saying what you were saying about nobody outworks me. It was just iconic. Everyone remembers it as one of the best press conference moments in history. I miss those days. I wish they come back. What do you remember from that moment?
Man, I mean, it was George Brown that came up to the microphone and he called me out. And, George and I over the years, we've had an interesting up and down relationship. Um, never anything really personal. It's just a competitiveness from both of us, I guess. But at that given moment, I was going for my fourth title. I knew what I was bringing to that stage this year, and I knew nobody was going to be able to compete with that. So having somebody that wasn't even in the press conference, that wasn't even in the conversation, come up and challenge me and question, what I have accomplished in the past and what I'm bringing to that stage that year, it made my blood boil a little bit. I was a lot different individual back then. I acted out of emotion a lot, and at that given moment, the emotions were extremely high, and I'm not one to back down from anybody. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. And I knew what I was bringing, like I said. So I just wanted to remind everybody what work was put in that year, that nobody was going to be able to match that. And that was proven with the perfect score on that stage in 2017.
Matt, look, mate, on the UK side, nobody loves men's physique more than you do. You must remember that moment.
Yeah, like you said, no one forgets it. And I agree with you, mate. I kind of wish that kind of came back. Aaron Banks is a little bit like it. Like he's got confidence like Jeremy you had back in the day, but people don't like it, do they, when Aaron Banks does it? Like we had him on for the last podcast we did. The comments section, people didn't like it at all, did they, Suki? They had a few comments on there. But I like that confidence. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like you guys work fucking hard to get where you are. And if Aaron Banks can't be confident, like he's won the Olympia title, then who can be confident, you know? So I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't think anybody's going to argue that the 2023 Olympia was a lot more exciting than the 2024 Olympia. Aaron,
Oh
Aaron,
yeah.
Aaron was a champion walking in. He was opening his mouth a lot. I was coming back. I may have handled myself a little bit differently, but I was still putting up a lot of content, being very, very vocal in what I was doing, and again, not afraid to step on any toes. I think the world we live in now, everybody's afraid of saying the wrong thing, getting canceled. Just being afraid to speak their mind. And when it's done the respect and it's done from a competitive standpoint, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when the personal jabs and the stuff off the stage starts getting played and mentioned, that's when the line gets crossed, and that's when things become personal. And this sport's not personal, it's competitive. We're on stage to beat one another. We're not stepping into an octagon and fighting. We're not stepping into a ring and putting on gloves and handling our shit like that. So I think the whole personal shit talking, it's overboard, because at the end of the day, none of us are going to settle this with our hands. So why sit here and make personal jabs that if you were on the street and someone were to say this to you, it would come to blows? But that doesn't happen because we have a platform. I know personally, I'm under a microscope at all times. I have to be very careful with how I act in public, because you never know who's watching. You don't ever know what's going to be recorded. You never know what's going to surface on the internet. And that's kind of that's kind of my stance. Is I like the competitive nature of the athletes. I like the banner back and forth, but it's also got to be respectable, and it's also got to be believable. Like, a lot of the banter going back and forth is just nonsense that that's being said. It's not even authentic. It's not even engaging, and there's also a lot of gaslighting amongst these competitors with each other too. And it's frustrating. Oh, you're my boy. You look so good, and then they're all somewhere else running their mouth saying something else. So like I said, the gaslighting in its industry is way different than it was back when I was competing on top. Um, it's just a different era. And I understand, because the way things are in our culture nowadays, we got to be really careful with what we say. And I think that's taken away from the entertainment aspect of things as well. Um, but like I said, again, the 2023 Olympia with Aaron at the top running his mouth made things a little more exciting. Whereas Ryan's been the champ the last few years, and I got a lot of respect for Ryan, but Ryan's the nice guy. He always has been. And he's not
True.
going to say anything to ruffle any feathers. He's going to work hard, put his head down and work hard. He's going to show up like he does every single time. He's a great competitor. Is he a great entertainer? I'll let you guys decide that.
I think that's a UK attribute. Maybe if you take away Nathan Diasha, wait for that being the exception. Us UK folks are very reserved. What we say, we don't bring up too much of the entertainment. But look, let's talk about the Arnolds. And I don't want to dismiss Diogo for one moment, because I want to we just talked about the entertainment side. We just talked about, obviously, when George Brown piped up back at that Olympia. Of course, what's drawn a lot of eyes to the men's physique at the Arnold is maybe the whole dynamic between Aaron Banks and Ali Bilal. Now, I'm going to put my hand up slightly. I know maybe our interview, Matt, Mike, such a shame you missed it, but I know our interview may have started it slightly. And of course, that went all over the place, and that then starts a few exchanges. So, this is
Cause some
what
drama.
really
That's what it's supposed to do.
look, this is what brought so many eyes on this class now, because look, let's not forget Diogo, but Ali, Aaron, Diogo, these three monsters in their own right. Each of them have unique attributes they bring to the table. As we said, Aaron, Olympia champion. Ali has already won a different Arnold's, but come from second Olympia last year. Diogo, the current Olympia champion, Olympia Arnold champion. Too many people are writing him off because maybe he's not out there as much as what Ali and Aaron's putting out there. So, are we all under the assumption that the title for the Arnolds will probably fall to one of these three lads? I'll throw it to you,
I
Jeremy.
think it's going to.
Yeah. I don't see anybody. I see that as the top three for sure.
I,
Only other and only the person there's so many different scenarios that can play out. I got to look at it from the judge's standpoint. I think there's five guys right now that are going to be in the top five. I have in no particular order. This order is going to be depending on who shows up and how they show up and how they judge it. We got Aaron, we got Diogo, we got Ali, we have I have the list right here. I wrote it down. Vitor, and then Sid. Okay. We another person that I've okay, let me start this. Based off everybody that I've seen in this lineup, I think we're not going to see anybody drastically better than their all-time best right now. So we're going to take everybody's all-time best and they say they bring it to the stage. I think that's what we're going to expect. Okay. Ollie might have gotten, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be that much better than his second place Olympia. There hasn't been that much time to make any drastic changes. The only person I've seen on social media that has made some noticeable changes, and again, this is just on social media, I haven't seen him in person. I'm going to see him when I fly out there. He messaged me yesterday, he composed for me, is Ryan Clark. Okay. Ryan Clark from the front looks like a completely different person. Okay. From the back, just based on the progress photos, that's has always been his weak point. It's gotten a little bit better, yeah, but I don't. It's not a top five back. So with that being said, let's say his front becomes a top four, top three front, but his back is sixth, seventh, or eighth. Is that going to be enough to squeak into that top five? I don't know. We'll see. Another point I want to make is the height differences. We have yet to see Sid stand next to Aaron Banks.
Yeah.
Okay? We have not seen that happen yet. I want to see that happen because Aaron's in a lineup of shorter guys. You're gonna have Ollie and Diogo the same height. You got Vitor the same height. You got Ryan that's a little bit shorter. You got Jason Nguyen all about the same 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", 5'9" height. Okay, so depending on how they're gonna judge this show, it's gonna either be they're gonna go for the shorter guy, which is gonna be either Ollie or Diogo, and then that they're gonna place after that. Or they're going to go with if Aaron's out there and he's looking his absolute best. I can expect to see Sid move up in a spot because they're going to be more comparable. So my top call outs are going to be Ollie, Diogo, Aaron, Sid, and Vitor, and it's all going to be determined on who shows up. My personal opinion. I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
No.
Got Ollie, Diogo, Aaron, Sid, Vitor, and then Ryan. That's my top six.
Let me just bring Ali Bilal because you just mentioned that maybe Ali might come slightly better. So Ali sent me some pictures over. He told me not to post them, which obviously I respect that. But he did mention the fact that he went over to Powerhouse over to meet Steve Weinberger, and some of the feedback he got from Steve is saying, this is according to Ali, Steve said that he's 30% better than what he was at the Olympia. Now, obviously, I don't know how you measure what 30% would look like, but a lot of feedback has been around his back and, of course, his condition being even more dialed in over at the Olympia. But we do have a picture on his page, which let me just bring up now. Here we go. So obviously, we can see slightly here now some of the condition that we can expect from Ali Bilal.
His condition's always going to be the top two. I mean, we know.
That's not where he's going to win, though. It's what has he done to his back? Has he made his physique more streamlined?
Yeah, is that 30% better all in the back? If so, then he's got it.
I agree.
Try to see if he hasn't posted too many pictures showcasing his back. Let's have a look on this one here. This was 17 days out from the Arnold, but are we all under the assumption that for Ali to beat Diego and Aaron, he needs to showcase something new from the rear?
Yes. I think if those both two are dead on, I mean, Banks has got the best back in this lineup. If Banks brings, the condition we know he can bring, like he did when he won, even when he placed second, those 2 years, if he just brings that, he's got the best back on this stage by far. But complete balance and condition. I think Ali, if he brings everything he's supposed to bring in that fullness and pop like he did at finals at Olympia, I think Ali is going to be hard to beat overall with balance from head to toe and everything, in my opinion, and look and just where he placed at Olympia. I mean, in his mind, he's already beat Aaron at his. So, I mean, my top five is just like Jeremy's. The only thing I have a little bit different. There is some rumors right now that Vitor might have a issue with the visa. So I hate to put this out there, but it's has been told to me. So if Vitor don't show up, I'm definitely putting Ryan Clark, or I would put another Brazilian in there, Emanuel Costa.
Yeah, he's looking insane.
Yeah, so and I think Cuts has done a really good job with him and made some huge improvements, especially hearing how he was prepped prior. If it's definitely going to be a big improvement just by the looks that I'm seeing. I still don't think Emanuel's got that back to beat those top three or a really dialed in Vitor. I'm hoping Vitor does show up and he's able to get through with his visa. But right now, there's a good chance it's a 50-50 that Vitor is not in this lineup come this weekend. So, and I do like that other kid that I did speak about. He amazing front, probably the very comparable, if not just as good as Ali. Um, I'm
Lamberto,
trying to remember his name.
the Brazilian guy that took 10th.
No, he's not in this.
Very
He
place.
was I mean, he's got an amazing front. It starts GUI something.
Oh yeah, the guano something. But
Yes.
his back's lacking a little bit, right?
His back is lacking, just kind of like Emanuel Costa. But man, his front is, whew, he's got the same type of sides like Ali. I mean, this guy's got a really good. When he came out of Olympia, I was like, holy cow! And then he turned around and his front just, outblew his back. Where
Yeah.
I did see improvements in the back now. So that's a guy. Hey, listen, it's going to be a six-man call out. They're going to call an even number. They're not going to call four with 11 or 12 guys being in the show. They're going to call a six-man call out. They're going to want it even in the middle. So we never know who's going to be winning the show. That's how they usually play it. But the last two have either been four, and that's when they only had 8 competitors. And then when there was 10 or above, they brought out 6. So I think if they bring out 6, Vitor shows up. I'm going to throw Ryan Clark and Sid in there.
Is
Or,
Ryan beating Jason Wynn?
man, I don't know. And I kind of forgot about Jason over these last couple of weeks because he's not as active as these guys.
He just
Um,
posted an interview yesterday and he looks sharp. I guess he's
he
going over
does. He does. I mean,
from the front. I think Ryan beats him, but when you turn around, Ryan had a surgery. I believe it was on his heart when he was younger, and he's got the very similar scar along his scapula that I do on my
yeah,
right side. And
yeah.
that scar tissue has prevented him from growing that left side of his back. And there's a significant
I
difference.
still think though, condition wise, man, and that fullness and his the wideness from the top and his
Right.
taper. I think he's gonna. They're exactly almost the same height, so I think he's gonna overpower him there a little. Where Jason's got him on the chest, I feel a little bit, a little more bubbliness to that chest, and I think Jason does got him on the back. So everyone forgets Jason was a top 10 Olympian.
Can
Ryan's
you go
never
back
been a
and
top 10.
find a Ryan's front shot? I just want to show you guys how freaking bubbly and round he's gotten this year. And
The exciting thing about Ryan is like I first saw him on a circuit maybe like 2 years ago, and he's coming like third, fourth, fifth in pro shows, and now he's consistently got better and better. And now obviously he went to the Olympia last year, right? And now this shot here, like he's the best I've ever seen him. So he is consistently getting better, and I'm quite excited to see this look now next to people because we can see online he's better, right? But we don't know how much better he is until he's standing next to people. So it's
Listen,
very hard to
he's
answer
got a
that question.
great coach. You guys remember he's got Neil Yoda Hill in his corner. This guy's not going to come in like flat. Neil's been working with him now a couple of years. They as you can tell by the way he looks, he's not going to come off. I can tell you right now, Ryan's
he's
going to be
been
on.
and he's been grinding, bro. That fool's been working hard,
I,
hard.
I I think Ryan can slip into that first call out if guys are off, if Vitor don't show, and I think that's going to make a lot of ground for his career. If Ryan can get into that mix at this show against this lineup, I think Ryan's got a pretty good promising career, especially at the local shows that he'll probably just step in and be able to win those shows a little easier than he has been in the past.
Yeah.
But like Jeremy said, he is definitely. I think him and you guys got to remember, Diogo hasn't been on stage since the last Arnold. We haven't seen Diogo really. Well, I think he competed. No, that's right. He won the Arnold, and I think he shut it down. And then Olympia, he had some issues going into that and pulled out. But Diogo, look at the balance he's been
He just
showing in those pictures. His legs have come up. I mean, his back has gotten even better. If Diogo is on like he was last year with the added size, overall balance, shape, and everything, waist, I don't see aesthetically anybody better than him on stage.
This
100%.
this is a really exciting thing for me about the top three is anyone can take it and they all kind of cancel each other out. Like Aaron Banks has got the best back, Ali's got the best front. Diogo's probably the most balanced out of the top three, but his abs are lacking, and that's where Ali's really good.
Yeah, but last year, man, his abs. I mean, dude, I thought if he would have, I was worried because we wanted Emmanuel to step up to third last year. When I saw Diogo at the Arnold, and we were obviously Emmanuel's off that year, I was like, man, if Diogo brings this with a whole year, I mean, a whole 8 months, or whatever it was, until or 6 months to Olympia, like he's going to be another guy that we're going to have to get past, you know. So I'm
Just
not
think
going to
there's
lie, like I was a little happy when Diogo pulled out because I knew that was one less guy to worry about. He's a threat, man. He's a threat not only to this lineup, he's a threat to the Olympia lineup if he's on.
I
Yeah.
agree. The thing is, what my opinion is like what the differentiating factors between men's physique and what it is versus classic physique. It's the lines, besides us being in shorts, I feel like those lines are getting blurred. When I look at Diogo, I think of men's physique. That is the epitome of what men's physique should be. Not overly big, clean lines, great balance, great shape, not too round, not too bulky. Like if you compare Diogo's rear delt bicep to Ali's rear delt bicep, there's a big difference in mass and just density and volume. There's a huge difference between, even when I hit my rear delt bicep versus some of these guys, they're just rounder, have more muscle. And it's just there's even like Ryan Clark's front pose. That wasn't men's physique 5, 6 years ago. It's like that roundness, that fullness used to get docked. So it's just how big are they willing to let us go? I know some of these guys, they're still making their weight caps, but you know, sacrifice maybe legs, whatever it is. It's just how round do they want these men's physique guys to be? How are they going to start rewarding that? Because in my opinion, that's what men's physique is, what we're looking at right there.
So Jeremy, let me throw it to you there, mate. If Diogo, Aaron, and Ali all come out in their all-time best, I know you've got Ali winning the show, but all-time best, does Diogo take that? I know you mentioned that he's in your eyes, that's men's physique.
From a personal preference, I would choose Diogo. If I was a men's physique athlete, who would I rather look like? I'd rather look like Diogo.
Yeah. I think I agree with him. I actually, when I competed against Diogo in 2017, I looked at him in the back room and I said, "Man, if there's anything I can look like, it's him." And I stared at him. That's the first time we ever met. It was the Orlando Europa Championships, and I stared at him and literally I watched him pump up. I watched him everything he did because that's what I envisioned my body, or to even though it wouldn't be, I always wanted that look when I saw that. And I'll never forget the day I saw him back there because I didn't know him too well. I didn't really follow him too much when I was coming up in 2016 and going pro. Like I was worried about myself. The only person I really followed around that time because we kind of worked together was Jeremy and the top Olympians. Like, and Diogo always was left out of there. And I always wondered why after, like, because to me, he just always had such great balance. He was a little smaller then, but man, when I looked at him, I was like, that's the guy I would want to look like every single day I wake up.
I remember being backstage when I was winning, and Diogo wouldn't even be in that top 16. I'd be backstage. I'm like, that guy deserves to be up here. He does.
Oh, hell yeah. 100%. And that's why, this line is going to be interesting. Vitor's got to get in there and because he's looking really good and he's definitely his back looks drier. I think Vitor, how bubbly he is, and if he comes in dry, and I haven't still seen an all out. I think Olympia is probably one of the better Vitors I saw last year. He definitely missed it at Pittsburgh. He could have been sharper at New York. In Olympia, he was good, but still not his all-time best. So I don't think Vitor cracks into that top three at all. I after looking at Sid's back and looking constantly at some of the photos that Ariel has sent me of Banks, I just don't see those guys even being compared on the back close to each other. And I love Sid's look, and I think he's great, and I think he's making improvement. I just don't think he can get past that. So I think this is a three-man show. I hate to put anyone down, but the judges are going to be looking at those three guys, and we all know that. They've all been top three Olympians. You got the number two guy in the world. You got a former number three guy and a former champion of the Arnold and Olympia. So I think that's what we're going to bet it's going to be. And I think I'm going with Jeremy on this. If those three are all lights out, I'm going with Diogo. That's where I'm going.
Let,
But I'd like to see it. The judges got a hard freaking decision here. I would hate to be, if those three guys are on, judges are going to have a really, really tough time because I think everybody's going to have their different preference. The taller guys are all going to wonder why Banks didn't win. The shorter guys are going to wonder why, what's the difference between Diogo and Ali? And Ali's got the best core. And there's going to be a lot of talk. That's all I'm saying. So,
Well,
but
let me
I don't,
throw this for Aaron Banks. What does he need to do? What does he needs to happen for him to take top spot?
he's got to peak. He's got to peak correctly and show the judges his all-time best because he has. We haven't seen that since 2022, and that's what the judges are waiting to see again. They're going to
yep.
reward him when he hits that. 2022, Aaron Banks, probably the best men's physique champion from a physique standpoint. I mean, I know my 2017 version can't stand next to that. It's a different ball game, from a physique standpoint, size, conditioning, muscularity, everything. That 2022. Besides maybe Brandon in 2000, what was it? What year did Brandon beat him again? I don't know. Brandon's brought it too, but Aaron in 2022 was lights out. That's why he won. Both him and Brandon were really good that year.
But Jeremy, if you stand those three guys next to each other, right? Say they do a 3-man call out because that's all they want. That's all they think is there, right? Those three. They did that last. Remember, they did that last year. They only the year before and the year before they did top 4. Last year, it was between 3 guys, and they brought 3 guys out. So say they bring those 3 out, will Banks look as full and bubbly and compact as those 2 will if they're all maxed out? I just think he's going to look a little. I don't know. If he brings
he's not going to look stringy or small next to him. Like, he's taller, but he's not like he's skinny. He's not going to look stringy or small. I think if he comes in at 100%, the eyes are going to be drawn to him.
Yeah, I think he needs to square up in his front pose more and actually, keep that stomach where he's been posing it in these updates. But if he can just bring his shoulders wider and just have a little more fullness to his chest and nails everything else, again, it should be interesting how those 3 look against each other. And I'm not saying he looks stringy. He's almost maxed out his weight cap, I believe, for his height. So I wouldn't say the word stringy. It's that these guys are just, again, shorter guys are just naturally more compact. It just, will he have a different look? And then they're going to start comparing those guys 1 and 2. Or does his look so much different that, he's the standout? It's going to be quite exciting and very hard choice for these judges, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see Aaron. I want to see Aaron at 100%. I agree with everything you boys are saying. Like, we need that midsection tight. We need the chest nice and full and round. If he does that, he's going to be very, very dangerous. And I think we all kind of are agreeing on the top 5. The only thing I disagree with you two actually on is potentially the 6th place. I know you guys had Ryan in there and Jason. I think Emanuel Costa is looking very, very dangerous. And I could easily see him in there in a 6th place. If Vitor's not there, he could move into that top 5 for sure. The updates I'm seeing, and he wasn't his best at the Olympia. His abs weren't fully in. I don't know what happened, if he potentially spilled a little bit, but he did not look like this at Olympia. If he looked like this, he would have placed a lot higher.
Oh no, listen, I'm telling you right now, Cuts has done a tremendous job with him. I mean, I was talking about Cuts the other day, going over his photos with him, and I was just like, dude, this doesn't even look like the same guy. No. And that's when we kind of talked more detail about his previous prep and all that stuff. And it's just different. And obviously, Cuts has got a good track record. He's going to improve some guys that haven't seen that level of coaching yet.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see it. You can see it. Like, the difference between his physique here and the Olympia is miles apart. So I'm actually really excited to see him on stage.
And he's maxed out too. So he's a guy that really has a hard time getting in his weight cap. So hopefully he doesn't get too flat and he brings this full look like we're looking at right now. This is probably after a gym session, but being in the locker room. But still, if he can bring something like this, I think I think he can give Ryan a good fight and give Vitor a good fight and give Sid a good fight. So,
yeah.
So
kind of looked at a few of the guys.
Pretty much have our 4, 5, and 6 up for grabs right now as well. Even 4, 5, 6, 7, if you want to throw Jason Wynn in there too.
I don't think. I got that 7. I'll throw the Emanuel Costa in there and that guy I mentioned. I think that's my 7. And I nothing against those other guys. I think Jason, just like you said, Jeremy, Jason's on the money, full and looks great in condition. Some of these other guys are off. I mean, Jason's been a top 10 Olympian. You could throw him right into that first call out.
He's sharp, but when it comes to a certain wow factor to a physique, though, he's very well put together. He's balanced, but there's just a certain wow factor that I don't get from him, and that's not a knock. He's like I said, he's great, but some guys got a wow factor when they step on stage, and that's what we're seeing from the top three guys. You walk out, you're like, oh shit, that's what they're looking for. That's what's gonna make a champion is that wow factor.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
guys, me and Jeremy will be close to the front row, so we'll definitely tell you what we see.
No, I mean, look, I guess my question here is a lot of people are going back and forth with Diego, Aaron, Ali, and a lot of the talk here it's also been about who can not miss their peak, who can peak it perfectly, get it ready for the show and not drop off. And I mean, who's more likely to potentially leave that door open, miss their peak, and leave the door open for the other two or even one competitor?
I would say the most consistent out of the top three has been Ali.
Holland. Yeah, it's not no brainer. Last three shows. All right. Let's just go to their last three shows. I like to see Jeremy's take on this. Last three shows, Ali hands down. Banks has not been his best. Diogo was great at the Arnold, but a couple Olympias we were scratching our head like, whoa, how did he get in there with that core looking that way, right? So will it be Diogo could go either way, in my opinion? So that's why I like Ali to maybe win this because he has been the most consistent. He was number two in the world. He won the two other biggest shows right behind these shows, Pittsburgh and New York. He's got that marketable look. I mean, it's just too many things in line for him right now. So
Have we
that's
ever
my
seen
take.
him? Have we ever seen him off?
Yeah, is before George Farah got back with him. Yeah, but no, not since George has been with him. No, I haven't.
Yeah.
He's great, you guys. I'm just not a fan of his back pose. I just don't think it looks good. I don't like the shape. I don't like he looks wide waisted from the back. I don't like the taper. He's got to be 30% better from the back I don't even have him top four in back on this show.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but think about dryness, detail.
From the
Like,
front, yeah.
y-
From the
yeah.
front, yeah.
But
He
even in
but
the back, his
not
detail's been good.
overall shape wise, I have him, I still think Aaron's shape is better than him. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
it's going to come, it's coming complete. I just don't ever see I don't see Ali beating Ryan Terry. From the front, they're very comparable. When you turn to the back, it's just the shape and the genetics and the structure, the way their muscles insert. It doesn't look as pretty as Ryan's. It never will. So that's where I'm having a hard time is if they're looking for somebody that's going to knock Ryan off, I don't know if Ali's going to be that guy
It,
because
it's it's a very good point you bring up actually, because from the front, Ali is in this lineup, yeah, arguably gonna be the best, right? But from the back, maybe he's like fifth or sixth place because Diogo, Aaron, Vitor when he's 100%, City when he's 100% has a phenomenal back. Does Ali's back beat any of those guys? I don't think so.
From what I saw, Emmanuel Costa's taper looks better than his too.
Yeah.
So
So
that's
that's a good
that's
point.
where we're getting, then we jump into, the direction of men's physique, marketability, and all other stuff that we don't really want to talk about. But, you know,
It's a factor.
Yeah.
Jeremy,
Ollie's done a great job for himself the last 2 years of moving up the ranks, doing a great job of branding himself and becoming well known. I know he's landing a bunch of sponsorship deals and he's doing the things that are needed to do to be a champion. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of people oversight, what it is to be Mr. Olympia. There's a certain reason, not
He
besides.
would make a great ambassador. I
think so too.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think so
He
too.
would. He would.
But like I said, it's not, there's external factors that, this is a subjective sport. So, there's certain factors that play into certain things.
Jeremy, you mentioned that you don't see Ali being the one to challenge Ryan. Who do you see then potentially then pushing Ryan? Because of course this year he's aiming to tie Brandon's record for Olympia titles. Next year, if he wins this year, it's your top, it's yours. Who do you then see in this lineup that could challenge Ryan?
I think Aaron has an opportunity to get his title back. I think Diogo, if the judges are really trying to go for men's physique should look like, I think they should give Diogo a fair look. Um, I think Brandon coming back this year. I know Brandon's always in shape. Brandon's never somebody you can count out. Do I think his best is enough to knock off Ryan's best? That wasn't proven in 2023 because I feel like they're both on the money. Brandon from the back isn't his strength. I mean, he's conditioned and all, but again, his taper and his insertions in his back aren't the best compared to some of these other guys. He doesn't have as much detail through his back and thickness. But from the front, I mean, he's a three-time champ for a reason. You can never count him out. It's just going to be a dogfight this year. It really is. There's so many good athletes. These guys, like I said, everybody's elevated their game a little bit. Everyone's sharp. Nobody misses anymore. Like people, like they come in, they're on.
And there's a lot of guys in that top 10. Corey Morris,
Yep.
Emmanuel Hunter,
Yep.
Ben Quill, a lot of that guy that finished 10th, Carlos. There's a lot of guys that have taken a long time off now. They're not jumping into this Pittsburgh. They're not jumping into the Arnold. These guys are taking almost a full year off. So you got to remember that. There's guys like Ali, Emanuel Pro, that have jumped into this top 5 coming out of nowhere, and people like Charjo that year, coming out of nowhere and have come into this prestigious top 5. So don't be shocked if, keep your eyes out for these guys in that top 10.
I
you
agree,
know?
but I think the Pittsburgh holds a lot of weight this year.
Oh yes, I have to agree with that. That
Oh,
show,
no,
that show is like the mini Olympia.
I'm personally a little surprised you didn't throw Emmanuel in there. I know he
Our
needs
goal is to move up at Olympia. That it wasn't enough
okay.
time for us to add the leg size that he needed to have that balanced look and that more detail in his back. He's everything else is there. Judges said don't do another thing, just legs and detail, and he can close that gap. So
I
our
agree.
goal is to not walk out of Olympia this year, no less than third. Like we don't get third, taking off a year maybe wasn't the smartest thing.
Yeah. I mean, for my personal opinion, the strategy and being fresh in the judge's eyes, I think the person that wins the Pittsburgh is going to be the person that's in the conversation. It's going to be when they go to promote Olympia, it's going to be the Pittsburgh winner, and it's going to be Ryan, and that's who's good. They're going to be promoting as the head-to-head battle at Olympia, regardless of what happens at this Arnold. I feel the Pittsburgh, in my opinion, is the better lineup right now. Brandon's coming back. That's the show.
And you
You know,
got Edwin Power Pro who plays 5th.
yes.
So you got the number 5 guy, you got the number 3-time world champion.
Let me go
Maybe
over
they
to
might
you
even
guys.
see.
We go back to the Arnold. We spoke about who we think could take the title, but let me throw a different question. Who needs to win the title more out of Ali, Aaron, and Diego?
They all do. They all do because yeah, they all do. If they want a chance at Olympia title, they have to win it because whoever wins this show needs to go to Pittsburgh and win the Pittsburgh, and that's the statement that's made right there. Ryan should be worried if somebody comes
I
in.
think Aaron.
You think Aaron hands down? So you
Yeah,
said
think
Ali
about it. So
loses.
say if Aaron comes in 3rd, how do you talk about him at Pittsburgh?
You
How do you
won't.
talk about it as a top 3 favorite again at the Arnold?
Same thing with Diogo though. If Diogo doesn't do that, he's been gone for a year. He's going to be out of the picture.
But Diego's never
Diego's
been a
never
number
been an
2 in the
Olympia
world.
champ. Yeah,
He's
Diego's never
never.
been a champ.
Yeah, Ali beats him. Well, Ali was number 2 in the world. I guess he should have beat him, right? Diego's never been number 2 in the world. So to me, that's okay for Diogo to come in 2nd or something like that. It's okay to him to lose to Aaron because he's already lost to Aaron multiple times. I don't think it's okay. I'm not saying that's not okay. Of course it is, but I don't think it's good if Aaron loses to Ali again to put him in the talks for this Olympia coming up that he can retain that title again.
Agree.
Yeah, I think he's got the most pressure on for sure. But it is interesting
100%.
you bring up Pittsburgh and the weight that it holds. Because if you look historically over the last couple of years, you are right. Ryan Terry won Pittsburgh. He then went on to Olympia and won Olympia, right? Ali Bilal last year, he won Pittsburgh. He came 2nd at Olympia, only behind Ryan Terry. So you are right. It has got so much prestige behind it. And a lot of people do talk about momentum and say it's bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. But it can have some effect. I do think that.
Of course, it's one of the best shows. That and in New York Pro, man. I mean, look at the past winners, even in New York Pro. These guys have all been top Olympians. Chiron, Ryan Terry, Ali. I mean, I could keep going on and on. Chiron, a couple years before that, I think Brandon won the New York Pro, correct? I mean, and Andre Ferguson won the New York Pro. These guys have all been top 2 in the world that have won those shows. Top 2, top 3, or the winner. So yeah, I think it makes a lot, especially when a lineup is as good as it is. Last year, the Pittsburgh Pro lineup wasn't anywhere where no year ever will be like how Pittsburgh will be this year. This will be by far the most prestigious Pittsburgh Pro to ever
Yeah, I
win
mean,
if someone's to win it.
isn't the prize money the same as it is for Olympia for men's physique at the Pittsburgh?
Yeah, and save Jeremy jumps in there. Woo!
I'm on the road the next 5 weeks, fellas.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up the Arnold's one, let's just go back then on just everyone give me their top three. Because I think we all know who the top three are, so just so understand in order. Jeremy, who is your top three?
That's so hard to decide, man. It's who shows
Oh
up.
man,
I mean,
I'm glad Jeremy's going first.
Or Matt, you
all
start.
Ollie, Ollie, Aaron, Diogo. I don't know. I want Diogo to win, but I don't think it's always going to get this. I mean, he's out there with Steve right now. They're pumped the way he looks. It's just I got Ollie winning this, Aaron second, Diogo third.
So
Mike?
I actually want Aaron Banks to win. I'm a big fan of his. I like him as a person, but I think it's going to be Ali, Diogo, Aaron.
Really? Okay.
Yep. Yep.
I
Unless just because
I'm
the last few peaks he's been off, we haven't seen him at his best since he won the Olympia. That was a while ago now. That's why I've got him in third.
go
I
on.
have to agree with Matt, but I don't know, man. I just have a feeling it might go that way for my own reasoning that I think would be too winded for me to go into. But um, I'd like to see Aaron win. I'd like to see Aaron come back and shove it in everybody's fucking face. I'd like to.
I
I'm
don't.
at.
God, we're gonna hear the end of that.
No, I kind of want to
I'm gonna
see it.
block him this time.
No, here's why I'm telling you. Because I think it's going to make it a more exciting show at Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I think it's going to make the Olympia even more exciting.
No one.
So
He's not gonna talk shit to Ryan. No one talks shit to Ryan. You're a dick if you talk shit to Ryan. You can't cause drama with Ryan. He's too nice.
he'll try. He'll try. He'll poke the bear. He'll be like, I beat him before. And he's
Ryan's like, all
right.
right, good day, mate. Love you too.
Well, listen. I
Bring me
mean,
some
you can't.
biscuits.
I mean, Banks on the front. Listen, if Ryan is off like he was at prejudging with his abs, and Banks is totally on, his back is hitting, he's hitting his posing, he beats Ryan. So I don't think Ryan's got superior shape. I love Ryan's look. I think he's a great ambassador for the sport, but I think Ryan's beatable. I think they're all freaking beatable. That's the
Mm.
thing. What's so exciting is they're all beatable. I can't pick a top three because any one of them could beat each other. But I think the way it's going to go, if Diogo's on the money and everybody's on the money, it could go that way that you said, Matt. But I'm kind of rooting for Banks on this. And I think if a Banks is nailed and his core is hitting and he's hitting his poses, his back looks great, they're going to have a hard time explaining to people why he didn't win.
I agree.
On a entertainment perspective, I want to see Ali and Aaron in that top two when they got announced the winner. Those who next to other, the little back and forth they've had. Also, we've had it with Aaron to Ali saying that he beats him in every department, minus conditioning. Ali said his bit as well. For the eyes on the sport, for the entertainment, to build the drama, as you said, Mike, to build it for Pittsburgh, for New York. We know Aaron and Ali are aiming for those two shows as well. They're going for the quadruple. This is where it starts. I love to see Ali Aaron both in that center, which is why, in my eyes, I've got Ali first, Aaron second, and Diego third. But as we all
Yeah.
say, toss a coin. Who turns up, who brings the best on the day, we'll see on Saturday.
Listen, if those other two are off and
We got the
Banks
same.
is his best, he don't win, I'm going to be upset. You know, so I think let the best guy win.
Banks is a genetic freak, man. That's what it just comes down to. I mean, he's been blessed with some crazy genetics, man. He's a big dude, holds his weight well. And he's getting, his legs have improved. When he posted that picture, I was very, very significant. I'm impressed. Like, damn,
Dude,
good
he's
job.
balanced.
He looks
He's
good.
balanced.
He looks damn
Yeah,
good.
he's For a
You look
tall guy,
good.
yeah, for a tall
And
guy, dude.
I'm
Like,
not just being nice because I invited him to my grand gym opening. I'm actually very impressed.
yeah, yeah.
Well, look,
I think he shows great. All three of those guys show great balance. That's the thing with Sid. He doesn't have the legs that Aaron has as a tall guy, and he doesn't have that detail in the back. And just,
But it would be nice to see somebody similar size stand next to Aaron because we haven't
yeah, it
really.
would be. Yeah,
Well, you
yeah.
do
I
have
hope
Alessandro.
So
He's
yeah,
he's
he's
absolutely massive.
massive, man.
He is
I
huge.
like his look, but he's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Waddy,
to me, he's classic.
Waddy does some work with him on the side. I'm not sure. I think no, he has a coach where he lives, but Waddy, my coach, helps him out as well for some
Yeah.
things. And Alessandro has his own. He understands where he's at, and he knows how the game's played, and he understands a lot of this comes down in genetics. And he's going to show up every single time. He's going to show up at his best. He's going to show up conditioned. He's going to show up hard with a lot of muscle. But again, it
Mhm.
just comes to structure. It's structure. It's just you can't change that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got to jump off and jump to
yeah,
this meeting.
we're about
But
we're about to wrap it up. So, look, that's the Arnold predictions. I didn't get a chance to get over to the VQ event the other weekend. Obviously, I got to see the Vanquish tattoo on you, Jeremy, and it looked like a mental event. I was on my honeymoon, but I need to,
Imagine-
I need to ask you the question, mate,
So,
because we're gonna miss the box office for men's physique, four-time champion. Mike, I know you mentioned a few times to myself already. 2025, what's your plans, buddy? I mean, can we expect to see the face of men's physique for so many years, back on stage one more time?
Mike, as you know, I'm not really talking about my competitive future right now because of some business I'm handling on the outside with personal work and stuff and things. So I'm going to leave that open-ended. I can't really answer that question. I'll message you after this and tell you why. It's if people understood my reason, you guys would understand. Like, okay, that's why Jeremy's not saying anything. But we'll you just watch me progress through the year. Let's just put it that way.
More importantly, when's the new gym opening?
Mid-June. Mid-June.
Perfect.
Yeah. Just got all the final approvals with the city and everything. And get you caught up on that with Mike after later on I got the phone. But
we'll
things
get
are
you guys content for the grand opening for sure. So you guys
yeah,
post.
Where is it, Jeremy?
it's out in here in Roseville, California. So about 20 minutes from Sacramento, Northern California.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Cool. I have to check it out sometime.
Yeah, you guys are
Well,
more
look,
than welcome on anytime.
guys, let's wrap it up. Jeremy, thank you so much for being part of today. Have a safe trip over to Ohio. Mike, thank you again. Matt, thank you. And let's see what happens at the Arnolds come Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely. All the athletes competing. Good luck to you guys. You guys all look phenomenal. And
I
looking
guess.
forward to you go on stage.
Take care, guys.